Good afternoon. This is Ken at Tortoise Capital with 70 charts in 10 minutes. Here we go. Alcoa, beautiful owl, pushing resistance at the previous hump of the dragon in a doji. Critical state, go large in either direction. Upside is the 200-day moving average. Downside, you're looking to return to the 90. Beautiful pile on. Apple, I'm short at the RL90, targeting the VWAP, the PSAR and the Bollinger Band mean, looking for Z-1 all the way down to the 270. Upside, don't like it. There's better symbols in the tech, so I'm only looking at the downside on that one. AMD, sideways quiet channel, Z3 compression action kind of going on. I'm going to bracket that with a range risk and go in either direction on breakout from mechanical entries. Downside target Z123 and the 200. Upside Z12 and the PSAR. Perfect position for technical trading. Intraday target. Very liquid. It's in the semiconductors, which have been doing good, but it's been lagging, so I like that one a lot. AXP, strong financial sector, but this has been lagging. So any weakness in financials, this thing's going to suffer. So I really want to get short on a mechanical entry on a breakdown below the dragon, looking at Z2 and Z3. If it breaks below Z2, I want two positions in. I would go long at the PSAR flip to the upside, targeting the RL 270 and 90, and then all the way up at the hump of the dragon at about 124.8 and 128. Those are the upside targets. I think that one's failing. Next to Boeing and Caterpillar have been amazing. Reward upside momentum, especially if the market's good. That'll be a high price. That could lead to real outperformance in the Dow, so be ready to leverage that with UDow, the triple Dow. Buy the mechanical entry, reinforce at 385. I wouldn't get short unless it broke below the skin of the dragon of the PSAR flip, and then only if it was the best candidate. But that's so I prefer the upside. I'm prepared to do the downside. I think there's better targets on the downside, though. Caterpillar, same thing. Upside, it already voted out of the doji and moved up, so instantly reward this, especially if XLB is doing good. And then add again above 135 when it breaks above the hump of the dragon. But you can see the perfect winter to spring to RLXD and an owl all the way up the price ladder. That's what you do. Cliff, natural resources, perfect owl. Buy any breakout from Z1. Get short the 2-day low. Reinforce at the belly of the dragon, the RL10 and the PSAR flip. So this is ready to go large in either direction, maybe a top 3 candidate for intraday trading. If it gets through the 200, next resistance is at 12.2 or 11.2. So perfectly postured with strength in the material sector. Cisco, buy it, tight frame, buy the new breakout, buy a 2-day low, or buy the short the 2-day low, reinforce on a break of the dragon and the PSAR. That is lagging the tech sector, so it's perfect on the short side. Timber, buy it. Jesus, pardon my language. Chevron, buy strength in the energy sector. This is leading the way. It just got through fair value, upside target 125. Get short on a 2-day low, target the PSAR and the RL 30 and the PSAR flip, so you should have 3 positions in if it gets below 115. DBA, perfect posture. Buy the breakout in either direction from that doji. The target upsides are the 270 and the 200 and the hump of the dragon at 1650. Short weakness here, and your target is the middle of the dragon, and then the swing low at the PSAR flip. So this is perfectly postured to respond to the trade war. Critical state. Diamonds, start intraday with a hybrid frog. If whichever direction you make money, hold 20% overnight and continue to play that as the beginning of a swing trade position. High pry. If Boeing and Caterpillar are great, this is going to dominate. Be ready for you down to the upside. Disney, I'm ready to short this on a break of the dragon, looking for the PSAR and Z2 because it's lagging and it's already rolled over and ended in a doji, and the dragon's already rolling over. On the upside, I want to see a breakout above the RL10. Yeah, the RL10 before I get in. So looking about 139.5. Upside targets to the dragon and the 10 and the 90. So it's easier to believe the downside on this one, especially if the market's weak. Dow Chemical, strength leader by any strength in the materials, instantly add to this position. Much like Caterpillar, this was winter into the spring. It just entered the summer, so it's on its way up to 52. This is my number one priority to pile on because it's so cheap and still has room to go, and it's easy to believe in it because it just cleared the previous hump on Friday's strong move out of a doji, and they held it over the weekend. So pile on. Devon Energy leading the way in the energy sector. It's going all the way up to the 200. I would get short the 2-day low, however, reinforce on a break of the dragon, looking for the PSAR for my third position. It just entered the spring, or it just entered the summer, though, so the upside is certainly reasonable. It's got to get through this hump at 26 and a third, and then it's getting all the way up to 29. Emerging markets, dojis all the way. Wow, critical state at fair value, strong upside move is possible, but I'd have to see all of the globals doing well. So a transition from the U.S. to the globals is the upside. Otherwise, I'm short the 2-day low and a breakdown of the 270 and the 200, and then I would pile on all the way down to 39 on weakness. So any news about a continued maybe a slowdown in energy or a China-U.S. Trade war resumption, and then this is already vulnerable. People have enjoyed that move to the upside, so they want to preserve. So I think it's ripe for a move in either direction. Europe and the globals have returned to goodness, critical state, much like the Dow. Start intraday with hybrid frogs, keep 20% overnight and build the swing position over the course of the week, day by day first, and then make it prove. If it gets below the 270 and the 200, though, you have to have a couple positions in hand by that time. So that's the swing position you're trying to build. To the upside, it's already free and clear. So maybe long term, if Brexit news gets any better, there's some upside. That's a long shot, though, but I'm much more concerned about preserving the gains and then exploiting the downside. Same thing with EPP, no difference. Going straight to Mexico. Buy any breakout to the upside. It's through the 200. That's the beginning of the fourth mouse starting to buy. And we've had 3 days of gains in a row. Use the bottom of the dragon to be your position sizing stop. And then start intraday with the frog and then keep piling on. And then all it's got to do is get through 44.70 and then it's off to the races, and that'll be very good. So like that. Brazil, not so much. It's got to get back to the 200 first, and it already voted down on Friday. So reinforce any weakness and any break of the 200. Reinforce at the dragon and the PSAR. So you should have 4 positions in hand if it breaks down below 39. Intraday, start with a frog to the upside or hybrid frog to the upside. But really, the upside is hard to believe in. So accumulate gains intraday and then keep a piece overnight for a swing if you must. EXC, get short on weakness instantly. Fuller, get short on weakness instantly, but buy a breakout of the RL270, aiming for 200 on the upside. I'm sorry, this was Facebook. Screw them. Fuller brush on the upside, reward any gains to the upside, pile on the swing. This was a perfect swing into an owl, into a reinforcement continuation when it cleared the 200 and in the spring, and it just broke through this. So if it has any kind of motion, pile on and keep it long term. This is now a frog and a swing champion. We found it based on just scans and whatnot a couple weeks ago, so it's amazing. General Electric, it's a dead man walking, get short on weakness, but initiate a hybrid frog to the long side. If the financial sector is strong, it could get to 10.5, but the downside's much easier to support. Gold has already had 2 legs down. Any weakness, it's going back to the fair value at 137, and then testing at 133. And if that breaks, it's going all the way back down to 127, and that run is done. That was a 4.5 sigma move to the upside. We should have enjoyed that. Goldman, powerful, perfect critical state. Reinforce upside instantly with the swing. Get short the 2-day low. I would start that intraday, maybe priority number 2 for intraday trading, because that's going to go. If the finance goes, that's really going to go. If finance is weak, this will suffer as people try to preserve gains. Second position on the short side, if it gets through the middle of the dragon. Third position, if it hits the PSAR flip, and then that way you'd have 3 in hand going down to the 200, and then it'll test. Home Depot, long and strong, just buy it. You wouldn't get short before the break of the dragon on a swing, but it's a pretty good intraday thing. But on weakness, I think there's other things that are better. I just like this to the upside, long and strong. Hershey, this had been a relative strength leader, and then when the PSAR flip happens and the Bollinger Band cracks, that's why you don't stick around too long. And it moved all the way back to fair value, where it has now found support. Or has it? The last time it was here, it moved out smartly. So I'm short instantly and I'm long instantly on a high price intraday move, and I want to try to build swing positions with markets money. IBM, tech leader, get short weakness, get long the breakout of the 4-day high in the usual way to the dragon and beyond. Latin America, get short weakness, same strategy as Brazil. Intel, like AMD, long and strong, tech leader, own it. IWM, just like DIA and the SPY is going to be, start intraday with hybrid frogs, build swing positions with a 20% keep for the overnight move, but a critical state, strong move in either direction. We're going to see something this week about what we got. Be ready in real estate. It's been a great defensive play. It has pulled back to long-term deferred value. If you see weakness in the U.S. but strength in the IYR, instantly buy it as a swing trade. Reinforce that position if it breaks through the PSAR. If it's weak, your target on the downside is 98. But man, that's a hard sell. But I'll do it. But I don't expect it. Tough one. The upside is easy though. Johnson & Johnson, buy it, get short on the break of the dragon, targets the 270, the 200, hump of the dragon, easy. JP Morgan, just like GE, only why not? That's why you play the owl. Jiminy crickets. That's why you reinforce on the breakout of the emerging dragon above that. We should have like 4 positions on that thing on a swing, all paid for with markets money. So learn how to do that. That's your priority. That's why you study the MACD histogram for winter into the spring and into the summer, and study the hump and the belly of the dragon. That's all you need. Okay, I'm going to stop there. The rest of them are self-explanatory, and I got to get these guys to dinner. But there's already 20 ideas on what to do. The rest of it will be more of the same. Oh, they're all the same patterns, same ideas. But study those first 30. Slow it down if you have to, but study those patterns in detail. Thanks for your kind attention. Keep your risk measured and your powder dry.